hard that way, get paid, lyrically, telepathically, and advertising everything. You know I'm from the A, we getting bread, we eating cake, so it's okay. I got my mind on my money on my, you gotta be there if you really want it. Gotta survive to thrive, that's just the way it is. And if you knew your purpose, then you would truly live.
If you work, then you won't eat. I'm just trying to hustle, trying to stay on my feet. It's a cold world, ain't shit sweet. Survival of the fittest when you out in these streets. It's all about the money and the power. It's all about the money and the power. It's all about the money and the power. It's all about the money and the power.
All right. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? It's Mind Shift Monday. All right. Yes, let's get into it. It is definitely a Mind Shift Monday. So this one might be a little different, but you know, it's always going to be the same. And first, let's go ahead and turn the music down. First things first. All right. First things first. What was the first things first? No, Mind Shift Monday is always, all right, going to be exactly what it is. So welcome to Mind Shift Set Mondays, or Mind Shift Mondays. It used to be Set, but we changed it up, okay? Welcome to Mind Shift Mondays, where we step out of our mundane and routine way of thinking and shift into a higher perspective where we exercise everything else. So why not exercise the way that you think and see things, okay? All right. Now, of course, these videos are streams coming from a heart-based frequency. Y'all can see my heartbeat. Okay. So, of course, we are definitely about to connect. If you're looking at this video in any type of way, whether it's now, in the future, 2024, 2044 BRICS, okay. If you're looking at this anytime, just make sure you're connecting with me. Automatically, you're connected with me on the heart-based frequency. So give thanks. All right. So today, I also want to just, kind of amplify some things right now as well. Of course, we are doing something a little different today. Well, it's not different. I've already been saying that we were going to kind of switch things up a bit. Everything is still the same. It's always going to be the underlying tone of effective self leadership and purpose. All right, with leading while learning. And of course, just more information to give people to think about, right? And, bring it from another perspective as well, a higher perspective or just a neutral perspective, just so you can know something more of what you've been hearing about and just, from me. All right. So, of course, do your own research. I can't say that enough. In the age of Aquarius, in the Pluto in Aquarius, all right, where information is pouring out from all over the place, you definitely want to make sure you do your own research, okay? And just, intuitively have discernment, all right? Because it's going to be a lot of people saying a lot of things, but you got to know what's true for yourself. Even me. That's why I'm telling you, do your own research, right? Because at the end of the day, you need to know what's true for you and your path and what you're doing in your purpose. All right. So that's that. Today's episode 17, I think that's a good one. Just the fact that we keeping it moving. All right. But today's episode, I'm doing a little did you know? All right. Of course, if you don't know, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. And so I came across some great information a while back, and I just wanted to bring it back up, dealing with the city of Montezuma and actually just the name Montezuma overall. Now, there are some other connecting points, but and I wanted to make sure that I just brought the information forward just in case you are unaware, all right, of where you are. Just in case you moved to Georgia, you might have moved to South Georgia, you might have moved to Atlanta, you might be from Atlanta, you might be from Georgia, you might not be. It's just some good information to know, right? So that's what I'm gonna share with you today on Montezuma. Then we're also going to get into a theory that I have about gun violence and purpose. Now, of course, again, these are my own views, right? My own way. And so, I'm putting it out there because it is what it is. And we can see the reflection in a lot of things outside of mental health. Okay. And outside of the same programming continually to be perpetuated. All right. The same cycles, the same things over and over and over and over again. And we just look and be like, oh, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, you know, what's the shift? That's why today is Mind Shift Monday. If it was Easter Sunday yesterday, give thanks. Then it's definitely a Mind Shift Monday. And every Monday after that, something powerful is always going to happen in between that Monday and the next Monday, okay? So either way, pay attention to yourself. Pay attention to the things that you're doing. Pay attention to your evolution, your growth, your changes. And everything will be good from there, all right? All right, so that is going to be the second part. The third part that we're going to be talking about today is dealing with Gucci Man and BRICS, because I just have another theory, dealing with Gucci Man and BRICS, the organization, Brazil, Russia, um, India, and China. Okay. So, and now South Africa. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that to the forefront as well. It's just some information I've been sitting on, and I just want to share it and make it available for people to know from my perspective. All right, so let's go ahead and get into My Shift Monday because we are in it. All right, so the first thing up, and of course, if you came through on Instagram, you can always come through on YouTube Live. All right, so because I'm live on Instagram today, you guys. So if you do find me on YouTube, Instagram, I am A Jones _ adjust. All right. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this to the screen. And let me go ahead and remove the background. All right. So Mind Shift Monday. Did you know about Montezuma? Okay. So this depiction right here, let me bring myself a little smaller. This depiction right here is, and I'm sure y'all probably can't see my mouse. So this is supposedly the Aztec King Montezuma, right? And this is supposed to be, I think, Hernando Cortez or whatnot. So yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and just get into the history. If y'all see me look a little strange, it's because I actually am having to read this. And yeah. All right, so Montezuma, Georgia, right? Montezuma, Georgia. Shout out to anybody from Montezuma or South Georgia or Macon, all of those places, all right? So Montezuma was incorporated in 1854 after the community of Travelers Rest relocated to be for it to be the new site of their new railroad. All right, so Montezuma was named for the famous Aztec leader by soldiers returning from the Mexican War, 1846 and 1848. All right, so again, so Montezuma was incorporated and actually established in 1840, between 1840, 51 and 1854. All right, so with that information, now I know it mentioned the Mexican American War, right? And I just looked up some brief information because I wasn't going to go too wildly deep into it, not for today. It's some other things that I can pull up, but I just want to drop the information in your hands so that way you're aware and you just know, and then you can go further if you want to. All right. Again, always do your own research, period. All right. So, who won the Mexican American War and why? All right, so the United States received the disputed Texan. Now, of course, this is being given to us by, of course, U.S. history. So it's going to be a grand thing, all right? So don't put it on me just because I'm reading it a certain way. But the United States received the disputed Texan territory as well as New Mexico territory and California. The Mexican government was paid $15 million. All right, the same sum issued to France for the Louisiana territory. The United States Army won a grand victory. All right, so the people who basically came in to rest from this same war are the same people who established the name for Montezuma, and then eventually it was incorporated as an actual city in the state of Georgia. All right. So, also about Montezuma, so the leader was actually the first contact. He made the first contact, or supposedly made the first contact between the indigenous civilizations of Mesoamerica and the Europeans. Took place during his reign, and he was killed during the initial stages of the Spanish conquest of the Aztec Empire. When conquistador Herman Cortez and his men fought to take over the Aztec capital. Y'all can read the words. I'm not going to say all of them, okay? All right. But we'll try to pronounce Tenochtitlan. Chitlin. We're not talking about chitlins, guys. All right. Look, during his reign, the Aztec Empire reached its greatest size through warfare. Montezuma, which is also the other name that they call, or which was actually, I think that's the original name. And then they also gave the name, well, he also went by the name of Montezuma as well. All right. So Montezuma expanded the territory as far as south as the Chiapas and further, and incorporated the Zapotec and Yopi people into the empire. He changed the previous meritocratic system of social hierarchy and widened the divide between nobles and commoners by prohibiting commoners from working in the royal palaces. So basically, he just like divided people up even more. You know, even if they were in the mix of each other and maybe making connections, he was like, yeah, nah, we can't have none of that mixing and stuff. You work there, they stay here, and that's that. All right, so and this is just some light information, y'all. Just some light information. You can go online, you can look it up yourself. Yeah, and go from there. All right, so not only that, but I also found out that there were Indians, right, in Arizona. Okay, the Sinagua Indians. Okay, So they actually built a Montezuma castle, right? Now, why would they do that? Well, as far as the references that I was reading, there really was no, it really wasn't for the actual king. Like, he didn't actually stay there. So it really seems like there's no reference to even him, but it's just the fact of the word Montezuma, right? And we really don't know, truly, unless we go travel to these places and find out ourselves, okay? But again, I'm just bringing this to your awareness. But the Sinagua Indians actually created the Montezuma Castle. Now, what I found out was interesting because I'm still connecting this even with the city in Georgia, right? And again, the Aztec leader, but I'm still thinking about it as a city as well. And so the Sinagua Indians were craftsmen who used their natural resources to create practical tools and ornamental items. They were also master spinners and weavers who fashioned intricate designs made of cotton they grew themselves. Many artifacts recovered at Montezuma Castle weren't native to the area. Okay, this is one thing. This is one reason why I thought about it as well, because there's a limestone. The geography in Montezuma in Georgia is pretty vast with limestone, from what I was reading. But yeah, let's keep going. So the Sinagua Indians were master traders and bartered for items hundreds of miles away. All right. And we already know Arizona is hundreds, if not thousands, of miles away from Georgia. Okay. So also the Montezuma Castle was a thriving commercial center and traded a variety of goods and ideas. No one knows why the Sinagua left Montezuma Castle, because they just up and just left and just, decided to leave, right? And its surrounding area. But by 1425 AD, they were gone. Now, this is way before any Mexican-American war, all right? Way before any of that territorial type stuff. Let's go back. All right, so some archaeologists say they think they left because overpopulation depleted the local resources. Others believe the high arsenic content in their water supply led them to depart. Now, I thought this was interesting right here, for the simple fact that they also mentioned that as far as for the Sinagua in Spanish, the name is Spanish for without water. Okay. So they pretty much possibly had to leave the area because the water was no good. Even though there's a well there, there's a very big well there. All right. That still is actually supplied by hot springs, natural hot springs from underground. All right. Every day, like millions of gallons of water. So yeah, again, do your own research. You can go further into this. All right. So the reason why I thought the thing about the water was interesting, because Montezuma is in south central Macon County on the east side of the Flint River. Now, first of all, we know it's a lot of rivers that just run all throughout the city, the state, all of this type of stuff. Like, we know that there are rivers that run from here, there, everywhere, right? But the biggest thing that piqued my interest was the fact that they're on the east side of the Flint River. Not only that, but did you know, all right, that there is a Flint River that runs through Atlanta, Georgia, right? And it runs underground. It's not even overground. It runs underground. All right. So let's see. Let's go ahead and get into this right fast. I'm removing myself so I can read. All right. So at the southern edge of the Atlanta metropolitan area, under the Hartsfield-Jackson Airport, all right, in Clayton County, and it flows southerly in a wide eastward arc to Decatur County in southwest Georgia. before flowing into Lake Seminole. Here, the river joins with the Chattahoochee River as the two flow across the Georgia-Florida border, and the name changes to the Apalachicola River, which flows onto the Gulf of Mexico. The entire basin is often referred to as the Apalachicola Chattahoochee Flint Basin. All right. So the Flint River first sees the light of day at the mouth of a concrete culvert on the south side of Virginia Avenue in Hateville. I know exactly where that is. And I'm thinking that that's that gated area. If you ever drove around the airport, there's like a little small gated area where it's like a little pond or just like a small piece of water, right? And it's right around the airport. So just north of the Hartsfield Atlanta International Airport. The length of the main stem of the river is 349 river miles, and it drains an area 8,460 square miles. The Flint River flows unimpeded for nearly 220 river miles, which makes it one of the only 40 rivers in the U.S. that flows more than 200 river miles unimpeded. And so, let's see, anything else we really, really, really need to know right there? Oh, so then using satellite imagery, total wetland acreage in the Flint River Basin has estimated at about 412,000 acres. Approximately 90,000 acres are in the forested floodplain of the Flint River Basin and floodplains and swamps associated with the Chickawaukee and Spring Creeks. All right, so hey, look, I just wanted to make sure, for whatever reason it is. Now, of course, most of the time when we're referencing the Flint River, right, it's dealing with what happened in Michigan, okay? But there's also, but then, like, I'm looking at this whole thing with the Sinaguan Indians, okay, and how possibly they left their area because of a water issue, okay, right? And then there's also the Flint River here. Now, I don't know exactly how vast it goes for how it supplies the state of Georgia, and even Montezuma, but at the end of the day, we're just making connections, all right? This is something to think about. It's something, did you know? Did you know about Montezuma? Did you know that there is a Flint River literally in Georgia, right? We know rivers run all throughout, up and down, all over the place in the US, okay? But we're just making connections. So up next, all right, just something light that I had, a theory that I had on my own, all right? Now, of course, I really don't know that there is a shooting or anything going on until I just happen to scroll on YouTube or possibly Twitter and come across something where people are like, oh, it's such a mental health issue. Oh, something else happened. Now, of course, there's always, what would the word be? Where it's just like, you give thanks and also send, you know, you just give thanks, right? For the fact of knowing that we're aware of what's happening, but at the same time, there are people being affected that are unaware, that are kind of caught up in the crossfires of being in a specific place at a specific time, right? And or come up with insert any type of conspiracy theory that you want to insert, right? But that's not really what I want to harp on. The main thing that I wanted to bring about was a theory of gun violence, a quick theory. It's not about to be long at all. A quick theory about gun violence and purpose. Okay. So a minute ago, I was just like, everybody's walking around with guns. Now, granted, I am not against guns. Okay. I'm not. I'm straight up. I'm not against guns. Okay. I like going to the gun range. I like shooting. You know, target practice, all that type of stuff. Plus, I like the training. Okay, I actually like the training. I actually like the use in just knowing different ways of handling all those type of things. And then plus being a woman in this world, or just being a person and an individual, again, you have to protect yourself. When you're protecting yourself, you're protecting your purpose. Okay, and so that's a part of the theory. Okay, so for me, I'm like, set your intentions, pull the trigger. Your purpose is the trigger. All right, and aim high. But why does everyone have a gun if your purpose is the trigger? Okay? Why does everyone have a gun if your purpose is the trigger? Okay? So you're trying to protect your purpose. Okay? The purpose is the trigger, but we know you are the purpose. Like the person, the individual, you have something that you're carrying. Okay? Outside of a gun, but we're just going to use a gun as an example of a purpose. Okay? You have something that you're carrying. You have the right to carry it. Okay? You have the right to bear it. Okay? Public places, private places, wherever. Right? But what's going on is a lot of people are trying to protect their purpose. So it's either they're going to go out and kill just for the fact of just to like be proactive and just go out and I need something that from you because you in your purpose, right? I'm identifying the fact that I see something. So this is a mindset based off of a specific protection that they are creating in their mind, right? Or that is being infused some type of way, okay? Because again, we're in the world, we're on the earth, we're spiritual beings. So there are always so many dynamics that play out for why things are happening the way they are. But my main thing is a lot of people are just trying to protect their purpose. A lot of people may be running around not knowing anything about a purpose. Okay. I'm not saying that because the first thing somebody gonna say is they don't know nothing about no purpose. If they knew something about a purpose, they wouldn't be running around with no guns. Okay, so again, people are trying to protect themselves because they have a purpose. All right. They're carrying their purpose. Literally, we're carrying guns around like to protect ourselves because we have a purpose, right? So you're not trying to go out like that, okay? So the first thing we're doing is going to get a gun because, again, then also on the news, they're continually telling you it's people out here taking people's purpose. It's people out here, just doing all types of things, all type of shenanigans. So you need to protect yourself. So what's the first thing you're going to do? You're going to are you going to pray first or are you going to go get a gun? Okay? A lot of people have guns because they're protecting their purpose. All right? So you get a gun, you protect yourself because someone else is trying to subconsciously protect their purpose. All right? So you see a shootout, what's going on? It's still purpose. It's purpose behind all of it because they try to protect themselves so they don't lose sight of the fact that, okay, I got somewhere to be, dot, 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 divine time, dot, dot, dot. Or you may not. Like, I don't know if this is a future talk for people or not, but it should be very clear that everyone's trying to protect their purpose. And so, of course, you don't need, if, let's just say, for instance, they decide after all these shootings, they decide to let the law pass to ban firearms, right? To ban specific type of firearms, right? So then there becomes an underground market. Okay. So I know in London, like in the UK or whatnot, they pretty much carry around knives. They carry around pocket knives, or whatever type of way. However the type, they may have an underground market for guns and things like that, but they have a law against firearms. So no one has firearms. All right. And I haven't looked at the statistics. Again, let me put this banner up so y'all can know to do your own research. Okay. And you can probably add to the conversation. So yeah, so they actually banned firearms. So what would that look like if that were to happen here? Right? Of course, we know it would just start a whole underground thing that's already been happening. Trying to figure out why guns are piling up in this community. Well, there's someone who's like, I don't mind being the middleman. And yeah, y'all can drop them off here and we'll take care of that. And they just showed that in the episode in Power. A CIA asset, a FBI asset, informant, right? Linked into a regular street organization, right? He was taken out. They took over his route, and now they're dumping guns on them to distribute or to sell and get rid of. It always plays out in front of us, whether we want to see it or not, or whether we just look at it as a play or just a screenwrite. Okay, right? It's the same thing. I think the other show that did the same thing was my favorite, um, Queen of the South. Before fentanyl and all of that stuff started hitting the streets, really, really crazy and heavy, and they still not really, voicing that and really telling you what's going on. They are, but it's not. You know, it's a silent drug epidemic, right? In a way. But on that show, they literally was saying the same thing before it really started coming out. And they also showed how, like, that's why she backed out the game, because she was like, oh yeah, no, 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 no. She didn't really know that the CIA and FBI and them were really, really, really tied in. And once she got to the top, she was like, oh yeah, nah, I can't do this. I can't do this. She said, I'm backing out, because that means I'm gonna be a slave to y'all forever. So she killed herself. She faked her death. Right? You know? Like, what do you have to do to protect your purpose so that you don't have to be in the line of fire or associated with a certain thing, so you can just continue to live your life? Right? All right. So we're going to go ahead and move on. That was just my theory, protecting your purpose, gun violence. All right. So next we have Gucci Mane and BRICS. All right. The other day, man, I was drawn to, what's up? What's up? All right. So the other day, I was drawn to the song "BRICS" by Gucci Mane, and of course, it was made 13 years ago, so that's pretty significant. And of course, there's a lot of noise going on with the organization. Well, it's not new. They've been around since 2001, but BRICS, right? So I thought that it would be great during this time of Pluto and Aquarius, especially since Gucci Mane is an Aquarius and he has consistently put out hits. Okay, no matter what people thought about him, no matter what, okay, consistently put out work. Okay, and so when I was thinking about the song, I was like, dang, Gucci and Aquarius. He literally was kind of trying to tell y'all about BRICS before it really, really started popping. Okay. Of course, BRICS was organized in 2001, and then his song came out, I think, what we said 13 years ago. So, or roughly right about like what 2009, 10. Is that 13 years? Yeah, something like that. So, with that, I'm gonna just go ahead and get into this. So basically, the connection is Gucci came out with a song called "BRICS." He's an Aquarius, and he's consistently, literally, been laying bricks of work. All right, and then also this organization has been literally putting in the work since day one. All right, to disconnect themselves from the U.S. All right. And I don't even think it's really to disconnect themselves from the US. It's really, when you're a part of something, everybody does it. It's almost like quitting a job. It's almost like leaving an organization that you've been a part of or a community or anything and deciding you want to do your own thing. And that's literally what they did. Now, of course, there are some underlying things behind that, okay, where, they may have, you know, they have other things, other initiatives. But these are the five most emerging countries, right? Economies, right? And then they also added South Africa. So that was major. All right. So, and I think that's very major because a lot of people are transitioning, and living in other countries, and a lot of people are choosing to go to South Africa to like buy land or do all these different developments or just all type of things. Plus South, it is what it is. Like it's a lot going on there right now. So, to tie it all in, there may be some benefits for people who decide to like even do a dual citizenship or all type of stuff, right? In any of these countries. So BRICS. And let me go ahead and switch this up so I can see. All right, so of course, BRICS is the acronym for the five leading emerging economies: Brazil, Russia, India, and China, and now South Africa. Okay, the first four were initially grouped as BRIC. In 2001, Goldman Sachs economist Jim O'Neill, who coined the term to describe fast-growing economies that would collectively dominate the global economy by 2050. That's literally 25 years from now, guys. But there's a lot going on in the news where we're hearing more about them because they are progressing and they're just on the world stage. It's just basically another organization, and they're creating at warp speed. Like they're busy, creating their own Federal Reserve, meaning their own currency backing. So it's all type of things going on. So the BRICS have a combined air. Now I'm not gonna really get into everything. I just want y'all to be aware, okay? Like I know that you've been hearing a lot, and if you've tuned into any other shows, you can literally go on YouTube and find out some even more pertinent information about the organization, okay? But for me, I wanted to bring this about for the fact that it's not new. I know a lot of people are just hearing about it, but it's not new. I remember hearing about BRICS when I was doing international business in school around 2000, around the same time, 2009, 2010. So it's like, right now it's just like a growing company. It's almost like our own growth, right? Eventually, as you keep going, more people will probably hear about you, or you'll become more progressive in what you're doing, right? All right, so let's keep it going. All right, so then I also wanted to mention, which I just did, the entry of South Africa, which I think was really heavy. And then there are a few other countries that were applying, as far as like Iran, Egypt, and did they say Dubai? And I can't remember if they said Saudi Arabia. But yeah, so a lot of countries now are applying to become a part of BRICS, which is very interesting now as well. But since they're creating their own bank currency and their own reserve, all right. So in 2010, South Africa began efforts to join the BRIC grouping, and the process for its formal admission began in August of that year. South Africa officially became a member nation on December 24th, 2010, after being formally invited by China to join. All right. So when they added the S, it was for South Africa. Now, if they're going to add more countries, then of course, all the countries' names are not going to go in. It's not going to be like LGBTQ. Why? It's not going to be that. It's still gonna be BRICS. The original five heartbeats, okay, of the organization. But they are growing at a rapid pace. And they are also there's a lot of these countries are still a part of the G20 summit. Okay. None of them are part of the G7 summit, which they have surpassed. Okay. But a lot more countries are, of course, because it says G20. All right. So a lot of them are a part of the G20 summit. And I think from there, they just decided to spin their own thing. All right. And so, of course, the United States is nowhere to be found in there because the dollar is supposed to be the reserve currency, right? The currency traded between everyone. But this is going to change a lot of things. Now, do I think it's going to change in a negative way? It really just depends. Do we have anything that we're producing that, more countries or more places actually want? So I mean, it's going to be a shift, which is leading me into, just so you know more about the Pluto and Aquarius transit. All right. Now, just so you know, Pluto transits into different signs every 20 something years. Okay. So this is not something like brand new. It just left Capricorn. Okay. And not only that, but everybody has a generation. So like for myself, I would be Pluto and Scorpio. All right. And each generation specifically has like certain characteristics of things of like why they're here within that time frame and what they're doing. Right. So just imagine, the children that are going to be born between March 23rd, 2023 and January 19th, 2044, and what they're going to be coming into, right? That's a great way to, not saying that you got to sit here and be like, oh crap, I got to, prepare myself right now. When you're trying to just take care of yourself right now, but you got to prepare yourself right now for future generations. But that's what we're doing all the time, right? That's what we're doing all the time. Like you never know who's going to come across your work, when they're going to be able to come across it, and then what that will do. But by this time, these generations are going to be so advanced in what they're coming across. Then yes, like if you have anything that you're doing that that is on the internet, not necessarily social media, right? Because social media, I feel like is going to go through an entire loophole, black hole change, which is doing right now, since everybody is adhering to subscriptions, literally creating platforms to get more people to just stay on and be embedded into that culture. But I also think it is very imperative that if you have your own platform, if that's if that's what you're doing, or whoever you're following or whatever you're doing, if you go ahead and just gravitate to where they are, like, that would probably be the best thing for you, because I think the internet eventually is going to become like Silk Road, right? If you want the right information, if you want good information, if you want exactly what you need, then you're going to have an access point. Like you're going to be able to have to access it a certain way. You can still type in like the internet, the URL, the domain name, all that type of stuff. But it is going to be, I know they're also, shifting the metaverse. They're putting out information where, let me bring myself back up here. They're putting out information where, like I saw a clip the other day where there was a woman saying that she was assaulted in the metaverse. 3 men assaulted her in the metaverse. And so I read the comments and, not making fun of the assault. It's just the fact that it's in the metaverse. And a lot of people were like, yeah, so you could have just left, and that is true. She could have just left, right? But because people are so attached to their avatar, She wasn't even thinking that. And also, again, insert any conspiracy theory that you want. But on the other end, there are rules and laws that will be implemented. And so you need an issue, you need a problem to bring a solution. So eventually, there will be laws and all these different things in the metaverse, right? And you will actually like have to deal with these things in the metaverse. You might be in metaverse jail, right? How are you in metaverse jail? How does that happen? Okay, that's the same question that they were asking the lady in the comments. Ma'am, you could have just left. A lot of people are not going to be in their right mind to even navigate those places because they're not thinking right now. Okay? So, it's just important for you to understand that's the same thing with social media. Okay? You can exit anytime to do whatever it is that you need to do. Okay? You don't have to be stuck in the comments. You don't have to be stuck battling with people, you know. And again, I will say that if you are definitely, following anyone and you are into whatever they are doing, you will need to, well, hopefully they have their stuff set up. If they don't, that's cool too, because I mean, who doesn't want to just like put out information and then just get ghosts, and then you just leave history for people to find out information, you know? And you don't have to be bothered with a whole bunch of trying to set things up. But we're here for a reason. We have a purpose. So a lot of people have platforms, okay? And so these platforms are where you will need to be to access this information. Okay? Because it's going to be too many distortions. Look at the AI right now. They coming up mid journey, chat GPT. You can literally spit out all type of images. They can fake people out instantly. Memes are already a psychological program. Right? Well, now you know. You can look it up. Memes are already a psychological program, right? And depending on how you use it, it could be to your benefit. This is everything in life. This is the balance. Okay? This is the balance. Memes can be used to your benefit. You see a meme that positively reinforces the things that you are experiencing in life, or actually gives you some guidance, for whatever it is you're experiencing, whether it's a traumatic experience, or maybe, business, you just elevating and you see something, blah, whatever. Okay, cool. Once you find that, find the person who created it, go to their website and join whatever they're doing. Okay, get more information there. Closely, you know what I'm saying? Like, go there or get it for what you need it and turn it into what you need to turn it to. Be inspired, be empowered. All right? Because that's where we're heading. You're not going to just want to be out here just taking in information from any and everybody. Okay? Like, eventually, you really going to need to, the information that you're taking in, honestly, is to program yourself into the lifestyle of how you want to live now for your future. So it's just very imperative that we honor that. Now, I'm just bringing this right now, okay? At the end of the day, life is good. We should always be enjoying ourselves, okay? And, you just have to live at your best in all moments for what you need to do. Yes, we go through things. Yes, we're going to experience things. But guess what? That's why this is Mind Shift Monday. Because at the end of the day, at least you'll have the mindset to just know what you can be aware of, to remain conscious, be intentional, and make sure that you know that you have a purpose. There is something that you need to be doing. Even if it's just moving towards people to work with them or to assist them or to just get more into yourself for what you need to do. Like it's all, it can be any way, it can be anything. All right. So let me go ahead and bring this close up so that way we can just get into it. So this is just something that you can take into consideration. Extremely rare and life altering transit. All right. Old programs and outdated structures are now being deconstructed in preparation for a magnificent collective reset and restructure. Truths are being revealed and we are reclaiming our power. Life as we know it is radically changing. We have reached a turning point in society. Our planet is resetting and recalibrating. By the end of this transit, our societies, selves, and systems will be totally unrecognizable. Karma from the past 15 years is being cleared. All right. And then we also have something else here where this one says, as far as reframe, starting the revolution in yourself through healing. Okay. Doing the emotional deep dive into your wonderful differences. Into your wonderful differences. Yeah. Reforming and changing based on equity and humanity. Empowering individuality, equity, and community. Okay. Dismantling, keeping up with the status quo. Hiding your secrets and deepest shames. Upholding systems that prevent humanitarian ideals. Upholding systems of personal and political oppression. All right, so these are just things to think about for why and how and what is occurring in Pluto in Aquarius. Okay, and of course we've already entered from March 23rd, 2023, which was also a very powerful day dealing with the auroras. All right, so shout out to all the people who chase auroras. Y'all took some great photos. And if you haven't listened already, you can go back to the episode where I do speak about auroras or just the sun and earth weather, space weather, all those beautiful things. But again, today is Mind Shift Monday. And whenever you are watching this, whether it was today, tomorrow, or somewhere in the future, all right, I hope that this was beneficial to you and that you are able to do more research to find out more about the when, what's, and whys and go from there. All right. So, also, I want to mention because you're listening, so you can also go to my platform, which is leadingwhilelearning.com. We just finished up 13 days, right? 13 intentions to effective self leadership. Okay. And it was powerful. You can now access all the videos. Take in pretty much, I recommend going day to day to day. But of course, you can pretty much do it how you want to. But I would just say go day to day. But 13 intentions to effective self leadership is definitely what you're going to need moving forward so that you can move powerfully into your purpose. Understand why you have a purpose, what your purpose is for, what your purpose is. I'm always telling you is you, okay? And everything that you do, it's an embodiment, being consciously aware of yourself, all right? Intentional, okay? So again, it's www.leadingwhilelearning.com. Let me go ahead and put it on the screen for y'all right fast. Just so y'all can have what you need. And I think it's also in the description, which it is. All right. All right, so there you go. Leadingwhilelearning.com is the new ESL. I know we have the English speaking language, but no. Moving forward in this world, it's going to be about your presence, your purpose and how you're exuding that in every day and everything that you do. So it's going to be about your vibration. It's going to be about your frequency. It's going to be about your energy. All right. How are you flowing? Okay. How are you? Okay. What's your poise and your posture like when it comes down to your purpose? Okay. That's what it's going to be about. 13 Intentions to Effective Self Leadership is the new ESL, is the new English speaking language. So once you learn English, you need to come over to leadingwhilelearning.com. All right. And get the effective self leadership training so that way you can know how to navigate within the world and within yourself. And that's 13 Intentions is just the first phase. All right. So, yeah. So I'm not going to talk too much about that, but I definitely want y'all to come visit. And yeah. So, again, today was Mind Shift Monday and a very powerful Monday at that. And I'm very grateful to have went live with you guys. Or if you're seeing this on the on the replay, then appreciate you for taking a look. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, and go from there. And yeah, if there is anything else, I'll see y'all next Monday. You can follow me on social media. It should be somewhere around here on YouTube. But of course, Instagram, I am a Jones _adjust. And I will see y'all soon. And I'm going to take y'all out with power again, just because. So it's Mind Shift Monday, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.
About the money and the power. It's all about the money and the power. It's all about the money and the power. It's all about the money and the power. We got them choppers that'll have you flying high. No private jets, just high and by in the clouds flying by. I'm on the airlift, man. I'm out of here. Loving how the world is one when a new dance come out. That part be so hard, that way get paid. Lyrically, telepathically, and magnetizing everything. You know I'm from the A. We getting bread, we eating cake, so it's okay. I got my mind on my money on my. You gotta be there if you really want it. Gotta survive to thrive. That's just the way it is. And if you knew your purpose, then you would truly live. Work, then you won't eat. I'm just trying to hustle, trying to stay on my feet. It's a cold world, ain't shit sweet. Survival of the fittest when you out in these streets. It's all about the money and the